from a galaxy far, far away.
And a bookshelf straight out of the 90s.
From Thrawn to Dantooine
And everything in between. This is Legends Look Back.
You see, I'm having a casual Monday night a few days ago, checking in with our buddies over there at the Living Force. It says they're revisiting the Foundational 5, and I just felt like at least somebody on the Legends side of things needed to hop in there and just make sure and hold them accountable that when they say they're revisiting the Foundational 5, what they don't mean is that we're just going to scrap all the Legends books from the list and make it a purely canon Foundational 5. So hold my own in the chat, trying to just represent pretty well. The Foundational 5, you guys familiar with this? You know what it is? Foundational 5 that we've got at UTini. It's one of our cooler ideas that we've been able to use in the Star Wars fandom to help people get started with Star Wars books, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. Foundational 5 is probably one of the first projects at UTini that I can remember trying to figure out what are the books you need to read if you're getting into Star Wars, right? It's in my opinion, the series of books that will introduce you to a greater depth of what could happen. And it's a great stepping stone, right? So
it's not about the best books as much as like the 5 very good starting points for Star Wars books. Have you read all the Foundational 5, Rick? Do you know what they are off the top of your head?
I didn't. I had to look them up again because I know I've
it's mostly
familiar
Legends.
with them. Yeah, but I have read all the Foundational 5. I'm looking at the list now. You want me to go through the list?
Yeah, just read them out for folks. Just appreciate the fact that we've got several Legends books on the list.
Quite a few.
Now.
I don't know if they're ranked, but the first one is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. It's a canon book, a young adult. And then Darth Bane, Path of Destruction, the first of the trilogy. So that's a good teaser to get you interested. And then probably my personal favorite of all time, the novelization for Revenge of the Sith by Matthew Stover. Heir to the Empire, Timothy Zahn is on there, and good old Kenobi by John Jackson Miller. So yeah, definitely 5 of the greatest hits, I would say, for the Star Wars universe.
Absolutely, and we've not revisited this in, 4 years since we cemented this list in stone. And now we're looking at potentially switching it up a little bit.
Man.
And it gives me anxiety because, if y'all haven't watched it yet, go back and watch Monday Night's Living Force, revisiting the Foundational 5. Corey about sent me into a conniption as he was describing some of the possible reasons why Heir to the Empire might get booted.
Wow. Over the rest of them?
None of it was concrete. Basically, it just has aged differently than the others. It being a 30-year-old book and some of the language and some of the gendered terminology. And I was getting sweaty trying to keep up with my thumbs, typing as fast as I could to argue for why this book has got to stay. And I just kind of felt like, you know what? We've got our own microphones here tonight. We should describe why Lost Stars should get booted from the list.
Hey,
I haven't read it. Just kidding.
Freddie C hasn't read it. Let's replace it with Truset Bakura.
Number 2, it doesn't end. It just kind of stops. She just stopped writing.
Yeah. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Come on, man.
Hardly. I didn't say anything, but that was my biggest criticism about that book. The second time I read it, I liked it a lot more. But the first time, I was not a fan.
I liked it both times that I've read it, and the third and fourth. It's good. I've read it a few times. However, the biggest criticism that I have against it is I had a friend, one of the teenagers at the church in Massachusetts, was like getting into Star Wars books. She started with, what'd you guys guess what she started with and friggin' loved? I'll give you a hint. We've already said its name on the show tonight.
She started with the Heir to the Empire?
She started with the Thrawn trilogy.
Nice.
And loved it.
Yes.
And loved it. Read all 900 plus pages of and then she asked me for a recommendation. You know what I gave her?
What'd you give her
Lost
next?
Stars?
I gave her Lost Stars. She's a teenager. I got a young adult Star Wars book. Everybody loves it. It's just like a sure hit. Like, you take the book, you're going to love it. Yeah. And she handed it back to me and made this face. I was like, what? It's so good. You're going to... And so then she proceeded to read the entire Zahn catalog, the entire
Wow.
Zahn canon. How do we? Because a lot of it's legends. We can't call it canon.
The my brain doesn't work, man.
I mean, Thrawn
Not tonight.
catalog. Are we? That to me
catalog,
includes everything, right?
The repertoire.
Repertoire. I like that.
Repertoire. I like
There you go.
Thrawn would like that word. He's pretentious and all that stuff. So
It's artsy.
absolutely. Well, we don't know what's going to happen. However, if Heir of the Empire is booted, we're taking Legends Look Back on the road. Just straight out of here. No, I am excited to see what they're going to do with that. It's at least been thought-provoking and stimulating to consider what might happen. However, we might want to do like a purely Legends Foundational 5 because like some of our recs are a little different than what they've got.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And have maybe both, a canon, or all three. Have a canon, Legends, and then greatest of all time.
That's how I think it should go, right? If you have a greatest of all time, it's like, hey, this is the best of Legends, this is the best of canon. But if you're looking just for canon, here's your canon. If you're looking just for Legends, here's your Legends books.
Yeah, we're not actually any of the decision makers on whether or not we're going to make the project
Nah, not at all.
to look like we want it. I just felt like somebody needed to defend Heir to the
Yeah.
Empire.
Absolutely.
And that's definitely, I would say, foundational, because there's so much in the universe that is built upon that book. Like,
And they
literally,
said that. They did at least say that.
Okay, good. I haven't listened to it yet, so
Shirtless Sabaoth, isn't going to defend himself. He's too crazy.
that's right. That's true.
He's
Those
kind of out
abs.
there on the island. He's got those abs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's on accident.
With that,
With that, we've got another great Legends, almost essential Legends book. It's not in the Essential Legends collection. However, the Discord just recently did a book club over AC Crispin's Han Solo Trilogy. We read it along with them, and we are going to give it the full roundtable treatment for the next 2 weeks here on Legends Look Back. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hello, everybody. And welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the Eugenie Podcast Network. This is a Star Wars books podcast to listen to while you drink a high-C ecto-cooler, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I promise never to do that slurping noise again. And I'm joined by my legendary co-host, recently relocated Rick Grace. How are you, Rick?
You're throwing me for a loop here. I had Freddie all ready to go.
Sometimes we gotta go out of order.
I am good, man. I'm here for the ASMR content, so keep on making great sounds.
You
man.
do love you some ASMR. As long as it's appropriate. You know who
Yeah.
else does or does not love ASMR? I don't know. We've never discussed it. The newly knighted master, Freddie C. How are you, Freddie?
doing all right, fellas. I don't have my golden axe with me right now, but for any of you who have been following the Instagram or whatever, yeah, definitely got
Big
that
week for
golden
you.
axe. Got it, man. Master Jedi is my new title, so pretty
Nice.
pretty
excited.
So was this, for those who don't know, he's talking about how he just received a big accolade at through your university, grad school?
Yeah.
Now, was this an award ceremony, Freddie, or was this your graduation to like officially become a master of the business?
A master of the business.
Master of the monies and the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. This was a recognition for outstanding students who are about to graduate, who have done a lot with the community and improved the lives of people around them, and have given the university a good name. That's really what the thing is for. And
Because they've been watching Legends Look Back, right?
Yeah, exactly. They saw all my Legends Look Back content. Not just that. Also did a lot during the fire season with the Red Cross.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
A bunch of other stuff. Servant leadership, as they say.
Nice.
No big deal.
No big deal.
NBD. He did, however, win a golden axe, and we're asking him to show it off on the show. So next Thraken Surf Store, you'll see me in my Legends books.
Mm-hmm.
And Freddie, this is your cue to quote Gimli and say, "And my axe." You know what I'm talking about?
I love it.
That's great.
Got it.
Isn't that a line? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good job.
I haven't seen those in like 10 years, so going out
Oh,
on a
It's been a
limb.
while.
It's talking about
No.
other fantastical universes. It's like, pretty sure there's a quote here.
And my axe.
Beautiful.
my
You
axe.
kind of got the dwarfy beard
gotta-
thing going on there.
Is that,
You
a,
have
is
to
that a
have
short
your-
joke?
Beard.
No, it's a face joke.
against
Yeah,
the mic
okay.
while you say that. part of the thing.
Part of the ASMR of it all. Well,
Yeah,
we are so proud of you, Freddie. Absolutely honored to have you as part of the show. And we are missing Emily Day back again with us this week. However, the future looks bright. Things are looking good for them, and she should get to be back with us soon. In fact, I was making plans to work around her for the next roundtable, and she said, "Hey, you stop that. I will be back for that next roundtable, probably." So I'm very excited to have her back. It just hadn't. It's been fun. Don't get me wrong, but it hadn't been the same without her, has it?
No,
Definitely
it's- Yeah, we. I was wondering, what the Utini maternity policy is, because it's about time, right? Like, I'm all about maternity leave, and my wife,
days.
and all that.
2
Yeah,
days is
but
it.
we miss Emily. We need her back. So
Hold up. You make an announcement right here live on the show? Rick,
Not me.
Are you pregnant?
no, I mean, we've been over this. Nothing's changed. It's still still full term, but no delivery date in sight.
I
Delivery date
actually,
is hopefully after each espresso shot, right?
Oh gosh.
actually,
Yeah, I had chili and stuff tonight, so there might
yeah,
be.
I've been hearing all about Rick's chili while we've been getting ready for the show. I'll tell you that much. I've been doing a video series for the day job, little 10-minute devotional series every day. This week being Easter week, and all for those who practice and celebrate. And one of my videos, I began with the story about the time that we were pretty sure Emily was going to labor live on the show. Y'all know what I'm talking about? She was getting a little fidgety, and then she had this look in her eyes
Yep.
all throughout the show. I was like,
Yep.
we about to burst, y'all. We about to burst.
Yes,
I'll never
that's
forget, man. Emily, if you're listening to this show, you powered through that episode. I don't know how you did that. It was
Yeah.
magnificent.
And then I false
Yeah.
alarmed us all and told the entire team that she was having a baby that night, and it was still another 2 weeks. So sorry about that. And also, congratulations, and can't wait to have you back.
Yay. Exactly. But
And go ahead.
Emily should get an award, man. She's a trooper.
That's right. If not a
She'll
golden
get the,
axe, like a
the
like
Night Sister Golden Axe.
Ooh, I like it. That'd be fun.
what would be like
Vibrate.
a baby equivalent? A golden.
Golden bottle.
Ooh, no, a training remote. A golden training remote. We'll have to figure out how to make one.
To shoot your
Hey,
babies
No. Yeah, maybe it's not a good idea.
when they cry.
Train
Hey, you
them.
stop that.
Yeah.
Gotta be quicker, kid.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to have her back. We were very happy last week to have Tyler here with us on the show. Shout out to Tyler. Was that last week? It's been a long week.
Was
Yeah.
it really last week?
Was that just a week ago? I think so. Well, we do have an update, however, on the Legends race to the finish. And guys, I don't have your numbers, so I'm interested to hear from you all. Tyler was very eager to brag about how much progress he has made on our Grand Legends competition. He has read, at least as of a few hours ago, 150 pages into X-Wing Mercy Kill. Very proud of Tyler. Everybody give Tyler a digital
Good job.
round of applause. I'm not going to, because it's competition and I'm going to beat you. And I'm not about to have you one-up me on my own show. However, I would also like to give an update on the amount of pages that I've read. You guys ready for this? Drum roll.
Ready?
Since
Yes.
last Thursday night, I have read exactly
Blow us all away.
0 Legends pages. Not a single one.
Man, I even finished a book, and even though I started it like last year, I'm going to count it. That counts as one. We're going to keep the Gimli quotes going. That still only counts as one.
It might not. Do you
Whoa.
use Goodreads?
Ah, crap. Yeah.
Goodreads, if you start a book in the previous year and finish it this year, does not count toward your reading goal for the year. If you do a reading challenge.
I don't think they run my life, so I will count it.
He doesn't want to be told the rules. Never tell me the odds. Yeah. How about that impression? Was it as
was
good as
great.
my slurping impression? Or as Rick's Gimli? Somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between.
How about you guys? Have you read any Legends pages to update on this week? Where we at in the competition? I've got a
I have
feeling
read-
Tyler is winning this week.
He's winning. He's definitely winning this week. This week, I can't even speak.
Or maybe Rick, because he finished a book.
Yay!
Oh, nice. So how long did it take you to finish that, Rick?
Why you gotta ask like that, Freddie? I haven't started it.
I'm right there with Jared. Prepare for a change after school is completed. Though we're gonna zip right through these. Someone in the chat said it last time. I do not have kids either.
That's to your favor for a lot of reasons, Freddie. A lot of reasons.
I could be on the bed for the next 3 weeks, just chugging through these and smoking through this competition. We'll see.
On the bed or in the bed?
Hey, man, in the bed, on the bed.
Under the bed?
With the bed. Under the bed.
It's been a week for all of us, in case you can't tell. So we're very, very much happy to be here tonight doing this. Well, let us know who you think is going to win that. Let it be known, though, I did, however, read 2 entire Legends books just out of sheer excitement from us discussing starting the competition.
Yeah.
Before we actually started the competition.
Those don't count.
It's true.
Tyler's not here to argue with me, so therefore it counts.
Nope, doesn't count. I'm in the fight now too, so no.
Here's the problem, Rick. Here's the problem.
What does Goodreads say?
Here's the problem. All right, the loser has to read a Star Trek book.
It's true.
That's not a punishment for you. You willingly read Star Trek books.
I'm not going to be the loser. So
he's willingly ready to go as a red shirt to the convention. I mean, this guy, Rick,
yeah. Oh, dude, that would be epic.
What's a red shirt? Like for football when you practice for a year?
It's a Star Trek meme essentially now, but in the original series, the characters that wore a red shirt inevitably were expendable and all died that very same episode they appeared. And so it's a joke of, oh, you're a red shirt, means you're going to die or get killed off. Now, later Star Trek shows started to make red shirts more important, like Captain Picard wears a red shirt. Yeah. Anyway, don't let me get going on a Star Trek. Ooh.
Just you discussing the uniforms is so boring, I'm about to die. Just thinking about their outfits, I'm just like, this is atrocious. I will not read this.
Oh,
so
I can't wait for you to lose.
So Tyler, you slow down.
I'm rooting for you.
Oh, I have read some Legends this week. It's an audiobook. I've been doing Kenobi, getting ready for our roundtable next month.
Hey, that counts?
All right.
Hold on. Wait. Do rereads count?
Yeah. No. I don't know.
So are we?
No, it's a race to the finish. Because I'm reading Wedge's Gamble, right? And so I've already read it before, so that one doesn't count.
No,
so
they do count because we said whoever reads the most Legends books by the end of the year.
That's true.
But we're racing
That's
to the finish.
Yeah, but
it's going to take you forever, Rick.
Let me count my Kenobi, okay? Come on, I read some Legends this week.
We're gonna have to do an update in a couple months, and then fight over all of these disagreements or something.
Yeah, I'm counting it. Officially counting it. So Tyler, get wrecked! Now, this week we're going to be talking about the Han Solo Trilogy. We are diving deep into his Legends origin story we did on episode 18 of Legends Look Back. You remember this, Freddie? It was an epic episode, possibly, many people are saying this, one of the best episodes of Legends Look Back ever, until Rick came on the show, of course.
Wow.
Hey.
Both Eric and Charlie from the Ghost crew joined us just a few episodes before we ended up going to the video thing. In fact, I said, hey, why don't y'all hold off and we'll do video? And they said, no, please, we don't want to do video. So we did it before. That would really encourage everybody to listen to it. It was effectively Eric and Freddie and me kind of sitting back and listening to Charlie drop some truth bombs on us, and we were all like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that was in here. We're reading the same book? That's absolutely spectacular.
Thing, right?
There's a lot.
That's the whole purpose and reason and argument for inclusivity in every job, everything, because you get a point of view that you would have never seen. Even, Jared and I have read these books over and over and over again, and the point of view that Charlie had, it really makes you understand it from a point of view that you would never have understood, and the thing is, you don't know what you don't know, so how are you going to know these points of view if you have no idea they exist? So, Eric and Charlie, that was a fantastic episode. I absolutely love that. We got to make that happen again.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Tonight's episode, we're not even going to try to hit that kind of level of depth. We're going very much for the 8th grade level humor tonight,
Yay.
as has already been pointed out in the chat. So very grateful that we're hitting. I loved 8th grade. Thank you very much.
Me too.
Yeah.
I believe that about all three of us, absolutely. Well, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about Han Solo's legendary origin story. Joining us next week is not Eric, is not Charlie, but it is Charles. See what I did there? Dr. Charles Hankel is going to be telling us all about his love of this trilogy, and it is expensive. No, expansive. Dang it. Expansive. It cost the doctor money. Well, this trilogy has got Han's Wookiee mom, his evil twin cousin,
Yeah.
slavery, religious pleasure parties, Han's legendary heartbreak, learning how to become a hotshot pilot, pulling off a heist of ancient artifacts, space pants, goodness, Spancer, space panther love, poisoning Nalatree frogs, Hutt Civil War, Boba Fett being awesome, and Boba Fett also being a total schmuck. It's got the origins of the Rebel Alliance, Lando and Han's bromance and competition for the Millennium Falcon, multiple of Lando's girlfriends, well, like different girlfriends, not like clones, but there's a lot of clones in Legends, just not in this series. And last but not least, this series also has telepathic, addictive, enslaving space rhinos. And that's not an exaggeration. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh yeah, so ready.
It's gonna be nuts.
Let's do the thing. Now, we do want to give a shout out to the Discord Book Club. I had some good folks over there a few months ago reading through these, and we were a little bit behind. So here we are, kind of catching up, giving our thoughts on the series. So if you participated in that or know folks who have, let them know about this episode and next week's so that you can join in. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Freddie, tell the folks the 3 books that are in the Han Solo trilogy.
Yeah, so we've got the 3 books. We've got The Paradise Snare, which was released in 1997. Hutt Gambit, which was released, I believe, later on that year, also 1997. And then Rebel Dawn, which was published in 1998. So one right after the other. Sometimes in Legends that didn't always happen, but in this case, if you liked Paradise Snare, guess what? Hutt Gambit was coming out soon after.
Yeah, these came out within, a year? All 3 within 1 year? Right about a year and a half? It's crazy. Absolutely. I think she probably wrote all 3.
Yeah.
And then they released them in stages. What do you think?
I think that's got to be the case. For them to be released that quickly, either that or she was just absolutely on a writing streak. But
yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah,
Continue.
Definitely. No, just A.C. Crispin, right? This is some classic Legends here, right in the Dark Ages. So if anybody was in love with Star Wars when it first came out, this was definitely something that was on some bookshelves. I mean, it was definitely a lot of. I mean, this is the history of Han Solo in Legends, and we had another series, right? Another trilogy before this, I believe. Was it before this?
Oh, yeah, the Brian Daly.
Yep, Brian Daly. Those were more of the adventures, Han Solo adventures, than the origin story, right? I believe so.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've touched those.
What's funny in reading this is the first time that I have read these through all the way through. I'd done the abridged audiobooks on books 2 and 3. I'd read the first one before. It's hilarious how they're very much shoehorned into this trilogy. Like, there's a gap in Rebel Dawn where it's like, all right, Han's going off into the corporate sector for a year or 2 here. And then he comes back and he's like, oh, I got to tell you all about Blue Max. Have you heard about Blue Max? And we're like, all right, we get it. Crispin, we get it. Like, you really wanted to make sure you included those books. Sure. We know about Blue Max.
It's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But you know what? A.C. Crispin hits it out the park with this series here. This was like, for me, this was my baseline of the Han Solo movie and the portrayal, right, from here on out. And I feel like they did a good job. Han Solo, the movie was great. I loved it. A lot of similarities with this book, right?
Yeah.
Some takes on that we'll talk about later on in the show. So, for anyone who hasn't read these yet, pick them up. This is some classic stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, A.C. Crispin just passed away in... not sure. I thought I had this in the notes somewhere. A few years ago.
2013.
2013. Thank you. Yeah, just passed away in 2013, so may she rest in peace. Absolutely spectacular Legends author. However, these are her only 3 full-length Legends novels, which is shocking. Wrote just a few other short stories. I read one recently. I just read Tales from Jabba's Palace. She wrote The Fat Dancer's Tale.
Wow.
Which, there's a few things in these books, I will admit, that, like, some of the language, it would not be the same today, such as I showed that title to my wife, and she was like, I don't think I like that.
Yeah.
However, a very excellent short story, one of the very best in the entire anthology, and it's no surprise. A wickedly talented writer. Though I think if these were to be included in like the Essential Legends collection, there would be a couple of little word edits
totally.
I would make in order to... I don't even know how much detail we want to get into this. There's one word that's used very... with much frequency throughout the trilogy that's just not how we use the word today, and the R word. And so I would want to see that revised for... I would not recommend... I would go so far as to say I would not even recommend anybody read these books if that is a trigger for you.
Yeah.
Because of just how horribly it is used throughout this trilogy. However, that's the 90s, and I'd like to think if these were reprinted, that would be adjusted.
Yeah, and just a reminder to everybody, right? Legends were books written in a different time. Take yourself if you weren't back in that time, it's a little more difficult to understand. Find someone who was around during those times to understand what it was like, what was acceptable, what was not acceptable, and just remember that just like some very classic books in our literature, in our historic literature, right? Like To Kill a Mockingbird, are all reflections of that time, what was acceptable. And that will change, right? That will change. Even canon books. I bet you anything, we'll read these maybe 30 years from now thinking the same thing, right? So, just remember that when you read these books.
So disclaimer, we at least had to give that. However, wickedly talented writer, and I just enjoyed every second that I spent with this. This takes place in 10 BBY, at least the beginning of the Paradise Snare. And then, I don't know if I've ever read a Star Wars series that covers so much territory on the timeline as this one. It basically gets us from Han as a, preteen, all the way up to literally in the middle of A New Hope.
Yeah, that's right.
So a huge spot on the timeline. Now, Freddie, I got to get your take here on the cover art by Drew Struzan, and I believe we even have the images here. I would love to know your opinion, Freddie, as our resident cover art expert. Which of the covers is your favorite? We got the Paradise Snare, the Hutt Gambit, and Rebel Dawn. Drew Struzan, absolute legend in cover art.
Well, let's see. We do have Boba Fett right on Hutt Gambit, right? So that's a beautiful little thing there.
All right, so we got up here the Paradise Snare. I like that one because it's got Murg. Yep, there's Boba Fett on the Hutt Gambit.
Yep. Love me some Boba Fett, and this is very tough because you've got different points of view of each one of these, right? And you've got
go back through them again. Perfect.
Yeah, let's look at these. So we've got is that Bria there in the bottom corner?
I'm pretty sure
it's got to be.
Yeah, and then you've got. Let's see on the next cover. Oh, you've got some Imperial shuttles in the background too, X-wings, some Hutts. Is there a couple Hutts there? I can't tell. Oh no, just X-wings. Oh, you know what? I love this cover. I'm gonna pick this one. Got some X-wings in there, some Boba Fett.
I think
the color blue.
I think Rebel Dawn is my favorite of the 3. Not so much as there's anything on it that is especially all that spectacular, as much as it's a very iconic cover.
It is.
When I see it, I immediately think about 90s Legends books.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I like about this? It's the end of this trilogy, right? Rebel Dawn, our boy Han, right smack dab in the middle, at where he should be in his full glory. So I'm down for that cover too. This is a tough one. I'm going to go with Hutt Gambit.
And Rick, what's your opinion?
I think actually I'm going to go with the Paradise Snare because it's the most bizarre. Like, it's not what you know of, Han Solo. There's 2 other characters on there with him. You're like, who in the world is that? How come there's another woman? It's a lot of mystery and intrigue that if you're judging a book by its cover, that one raised a lot of questions for me.
Yeah,
Drew Struzan.
You don't even know who Murg or Bria are unless you read the book.
Exactly.
And just a shout out here to Drew Struzan, still alive, right? He was, I think he was born in like 1947 or something like that. Huge contribution to pop culture. Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Also did cover art for Alice Cooper, Black Sabbath, Earth, Wind and Fire. I mean, this guy is.
Wait, he did like album covers?
Yep, he did album covers as well.
Way.
He even did, I believe he did a cover for Rolling Stone once. Anyway, Drew Struzan, he's got a name for himself. He knows what he's doing, and the fact that he can grace these covers is great for me.
It might be my favorite thing in all of Star Wars fandom, admiring Drew Struzan covers. That and listening to HK-47 talk down to people in Knights of the Old Republic. I am a sucker for that, for sure.
Yeah.
I want HK-47 talking smack to Drew Struzan. That would be fun. Call him a meatbag. That'd be something.
Hey, meatbag.
Absolutely. Well, a couple other things in terms of behind-the-scenes introduction, and that is that there is also a sci-fi book club edition that was published right after the trilogy was completed in 1998. It has all 3 books in one hardcover volume. This just came up on the Utini team a couple days ago because one of our buddies, Frank, shout out to Frank, bless your heart, Frank. Frank tried to order a hardcover of Rebel Dawn and was upset that it was a paperback. Frank, there is no hardcover of Rebel Dawn.
At least not by itself.
Not above board, at least.
Barnes
if somebody's
and Noble is the only hardcover, right?
Well, there's the Sci-Fi Book Club that's got all 3 in one volume.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the Barnes & Noble version also has all 3 books in one volume. But there's no hardcover of each of these books on their own. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jared, do you have that SFBC?
Yes, not accessible this week, unfortunately. Do you have an image of it?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you vamp and I'll grab it.
Well, I don't have that one yet, so I'm trying to get it, man. I've got the Corellian trilogy, but I don't have the science fiction book club of this one. And after reading it, I'm a huge fan. So
I like the Barnes and Noble collection the most. It's that beautiful cover. Man, look at that cover right there.
All right,
yeah,
so this was published in 2017. Oh, the Sci-Fi Book Club edition? No, I don't have that one.
Okay.
The Barnes & Noble edition came out in 2017. I think it's still available in some Barnes & Noble stores.
Wow. Cool.
It's got Han and Chewie on the spine, the Falcon on the cover. It's got a Legends banner, but it's not gold, so it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And then the back is, well, probably Jabba smoking a hookah. It could be several Hutts. There's a lot of Hutts. I'm thinking Jabba because you got Boba Fett hanging out with him. And then there's more. You all ready for this? A bookmark like the Bible. I mean, I guess the Bible originally published without a bookmark, on papyri.
Sure.
And then some Ralph McQuarrie concept art in here.
Yes.
Full color. We got the Bomar Monk castle in the back. And then what's in the... I don't even remember what... Oh, okay, the exact same thing in the front.
Yeah. Double or nothing. And
yeah, I love these. Absolutely love these editions. Excited to see the Kenobi version coming out later this year.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was going to jump in and say, too, that the pages are good quality. Remember, we talked about page and typesetting, and mine's a little musty. It's an old, but yeah, I just like, good
what do you mean
quality
it's old?
Print.
It was printed 5 years ago.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I got it used, so who knows? That's right. No, hold on. You said 2017. I think it's 2013.
You bought it from a smoker. That's what you did.
That's possible.
Or pets. Somebody with pets. Worse, somebody with pets and smoke in their home.
Oh man.
Yeah, there's the cover.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, let's talk about it. What do y'all say?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's take turns reading these summaries. I'll go first. Freddie, you're second. And Rick, you can read Rebel Dawn since you just finished it last night, and you can officially read the spoilers. I almost had to take these out for you, Rick.
Thank you for
I'm glad I did.
Hey,
all right.
Do make the spoiler warning now. So.
Yes, this will be spoilery for the entire Han Solo trilogy. For me, it took months to read all of this. So take your time. Come back to this. The show's still going to be here. However, it's live now, so you might as well just hang out. All right. So the first book is The Paradise Snare. Here's the gist of it. A young Han Solo's spice-running job takes him to Elysia, where dastardly Talandatil rule a profitable glitter stem operation through using their bodily vibrations to enslave workers in a religious cult. No big deal. There, Han makes a friend, Murg, a girlfriend, Bria Theron, and an enemy, Terra Winza. That's basically all you need to know. There's a lot more, but, they've got 3 books to talk about here. Take us away, Freddie.
Yeah, all right. We've got next in the series, The Hutt Gambit. Han and Lando lead a showdown of smugglers alliance on Nar Shaddaa against the Imperials, who want to make an example out of the planet because the Hutts have abused the leeway the Empire has allowed them, and the smugglers are not taking it lying down.
What do you think?
Not
one sentence. Is that enough?
That's not bad.
It's pretty good.
An entire
is
plot
just one
right
sentence.
in
Wow.
one sentence. And you know
If
what?
only I could get a sermon into 20 minutes.
Yeah, struggle. The struggle's real.
I could put an entire book into one sentence, but it is real. All right, Rick, you're up next.
All right, and then the Rebel Dawn, Bria Theron needs her ex-boyfriend Han Solo to muster up his crew of smugglers and scoundrels to aid in the fledgling Rebel Alliance's mission to take down the Talandatil's Glitterstem operation on Elysia. Euretha. Why does everyone want to go back to Elysia? I like it. Good joke. And they all live happily ever after. Just kidding. Actually, Bria dies in a Rogue One-esque mission to retrieve the Death Star plans on Taprawa after driving a wedge between Han and Lando and betraying Han
I gave you the hard
one. Rebel aspirations again. But at least Han has Jabba. Actually, Han has to dump a load of spice in the process of making the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs, which puts Greedo on his tail, leading us right into a little movie affectionately known as The Star Wars, or A New Hope if you really want to split hairs.
Well done, Rick. Sorry for giving
Thank you.
I gave Freddie one sentence, and I gave you...
It's like...
I gave you Taprawa and Elysia.
Oh, man. And what was the... oh, man, like wedge? Where
Yeah,
I had a hard
driving
time
a wedge.
between
That's
Han.
right.
Yeah, that's good
Yep.
stuff, though. Good writing, dude.
Could have been worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, there's no other place to start than with Han Solo himself. I mean, we could literally start with dozens of other characters, but we're not going to. Because this is, after all, not the Terra Winza trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not the Lando Calrissian trilogy. However, I do need to read that one. It's on my list. I've DNF'd the first one so far. We'll see if I can
Gotta
get through.
power
However,
through it, man.
they are referenced quite extensively in this series. So I feel like I pretty much got everything I need to know, right? It counts.
Is that 3 more books that you're going to check
Crossing them
off?
off. You just saw it happen here live on the show. We decided it.
That's
No,
not how it
Tyler.
works.
I'm curious. I'm curious to find some good stuff. You never know. You never know. Well, this is really an excellent trilogy for getting into the psyche of what makes Han Han. Obviously falls head over heels in love with Bria Theron on Elysia and the Spice Mines, and is very much like a "I'm gonna save you" kind of mentality. Been there, man. It don't work. It does not work out, Han. However, that kind of does, but it does backfire in a big bad way. Here's my question, and I'm really on the fence about what I think about this. Very much on the fence. So we're going to hash it out here live on the show. Do you think Crispin's Han Solo is consistent with Harrison Ford's portrayal of the character that we encounter in the original trilogy? I'm not sure that I love her. I love the trilogy, but I'm not sure I love her characterization of Han. I'm not sure.
That's a good question, right? Let's go back to Han in Paradise Snare. And the beginnings of his life, right? He's how do we put this? He's fresh. He's not the crusty, angry smuggler that we see in the sequels, and he's not quite the debonair quite yet, right? He's not the cold-hearted, I don't trust anybody, good-looking Harrison Ford guy that we see in the movies. I mean, he is in a part, but he starts off as almost too innocent and too trusting, I guess, in a sense. But also, he still has this troubled background of being on his own. So,
Yeah.
Does it reflect Harrison Ford? No, but it will soon. It will eventually, right? After he's gone through the amount of things that he's gone through.
He's got to go through some pain in order to get jaded. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's what I was going to say too. Is that I don't think that her portrayal of Han is consistent with the film, and that's exactly what it should be, because it is a story of origin. It's his how he became that Han, and so I think it does a great job, because on the first couple chapters you do see a much more hopeful Han and his quick to find love, quick to have a good time, whatever, and that's not who he is in A New Hope. And so I think this whole series does a really good job at kind of telling us that story and working through all of that drama. I don't know.
It's both. It's really both.
Yeah, it really is. So I think it was, are they the same? No, but that's good. It's definitely a story of change. He's a dynamic character through and through.
Not just that, but I feel like, and Jared, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Han Solo, he had the chance to be really bad. And he had the chance to be, I guess, chaotic evil and chaotic good, right? He had the chance to be either one of those, and he ended up being the good person that we see, right? Who's always down for a cause, but he might have to be convinced of it, or he has to see the benefit for him. And in most cases, the benefit is money, because he's always short on it.
Right. But we do find, in a few places where his altruism wins out over his greed, as it often does, and he risks his neck for the smugglers. And I loved all that stuff, risking his neck for the smugglers on Nar Shaddaa, organizing that whole alliance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right, I'm going to go controversial opinion. I straight up don't like her characterization of Han.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw it out
Jared.
there. I'm going to throw it. He's a little bit too wide-eyed, and all right, y'all know like old-timey movies where the hero is like, "Gee, guys, let's like a beaver cleaver kind of.
Okay.
Let's go down to the store. Nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm sure those guys aren't gonna jump us. Those dogs probably aren't gonna bite us." That's her. Han Solo is beaver cleaver to me.
Okay.
He's not
see
cool.
that.
He doesn't have the swag of Harrison Ford.
Han Solo is the
he wouldn't
person...
shoot first.
No,
Solo's
although
the
I think there is a
person
line
to-
in here about how he does shoot first.
Yeah,
there is,
probably.
there is. Let's see, Han Solo. The way you're describing it, beaver cleaver. Okay, so Han Solo, the kind of guy who would apologize to his father for finding $100 on the street, or something like that, right?
Yes, right.
I've
I
sinned,
once
found
did
this
that.
money and I
I
spent it.
legitimately did one time. I found a bunch of money on the street, and there was a person, and I was like, "Oh, it must be their money," and I gave all the cash to them, and they were like, "Thank you," and ran away. My mom was like, "Don't." Yeah, there's a story for another
Love
day.
it.
I just told it, but it's for another day. Go ahead.
So you're saying you are Han Solo then?
Well, yes. I mean, my personality type is, I don't believe in like those personality profiles. However, one time I took one that told me I was Han Solo. So I'm going to take it for sure. I've got
Okay.
a scar on my chin.
Hey,
You can't
Okay.
see it. All right, got to shave so you guys can see my scar. Hold on.
Are you a son of Corellia?
Yeah, I'm going to go grab my clippers. No, I'm not. But, all right, we got a controversial opinion here from, kind of weighing in on the subject here, Skooma Joe, the king of the Han Solo Trilogy Discord book club. That's a mouthful. He says, I agree that Crispin's Han is softer and gentler than the original trilogy Han, but I think it works as he gets hardened over the course of the trilogy.
Interesting.
I think it would work better if Rebel Dawn hadn't ended right before A New Hope. I agree with that point as well. But for me, it's that he gets hardened, but then the way that he discusses the fact that he's jaded is more like the 1930s gangster. He's like, I'm never going to get the wool pulled over my eyes again. You see here? It's
That's fair.
I kind of read it like, all right, we get it, buddy.
This, I don't know. I see what you're saying. I was just thinking about something else too that popped in my head. Skuma Joe made the point about, which didn't end right before A New Hope, but something I never considered is, what if the confidence and the aura that he is presenting in A New Hope is really just false, and he really is still this insecure, growing, hurt dude who is putting on this bravada, whatever, in order to fit into this dangerous world of a smuggler. I don't know. Just thinking out loud.
You've got a point there. We have to admit, Han Solo's not working in an industry that is very nice, right? He has the opportunity to die should he make any mistake, which we see that in the books, right? We see they're right off the bat. He's got bounty hunters coming after him on Nar Shaddaa, right? So, and that's in Hutt Gambit, I believe. Yeah, and he does have. I would say it's the kind of the evolution of confidence, right? So he starts off soft, and then he gets cocky, but then you have to. From the cockiness is born the confidence, right? Once you realize what you're actually worth and what you can do and what you're capable of, I feel like at that point you've kind of moved away from cockiness, which is like, I know I can do these things. How do I prove it? That's how I see it, though, and he's it's almost like he's going through the beginning phases of being like, hey, I'm hard. You can't fool me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
so maybe I don't know.
There's definitely a little bit of up and down, and his friends humanize him. I really love the relationship with Lando, for sure. We're not going to talk about Lando in deep detail. I do quite like the way she writes Lando in this series. So there's that as well. There's all kinds of little Easter eggs to EU characters, almost too many, and we can talk more about that next week. It's definitely something that she really is trying to make sure all the Legends stories that have been published throughout the 90s and beyond, before that, she really tries to pull all those stories in, sometimes to a point where it's distracting. But there's all kinds of little character cameos. Obviously, Boba Fett is featured. We'll talk more about him. We've got Bail Organa getting a little cameo. Who's the one from Dark Empire that I like? Mako Spence?
Mako.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Mako is great. Really takes him to a whole new level in this series, which I had no idea. It was one of those things where when he showed up, I threw the book across the room, grabbed my phone, and posted in the Discord. I was like, y'all, Mako's in this thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, all kinds of little character cameos. However, let's talk about some of the big characters for tonight. Next up is Bria Theron. Bria is very much like that first love. The one that Han is just head over heels in love with, more so than she is with him, which I've been there.
Oh, I've been there too.
It's rough. I'm just like, no, Han, don't do it. Haven't you seen the original trilogy? You got Leia waiting for you over there. He don't know. He hadn't met her.
Gotta play it cool. When she says she loves you, just gotta give her a subtle, I know.
Yeah, he's got to get there, because in this one, it's like he's the one going way out of his way to say first, I love you, which I thought that was good. So let's talk about the romance here. I have a hard time even thinking about Leia in this entire series, because I'm so invested in the Han-Bria relationship. It's so risky.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so risky for Crispin to have given Han such a credible love interest, when the Han and Leia relationship is one of the most iconic in cinema history, right?
Well said. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Brave, super brave. That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time I was reading it, was thinking of Leia and thinking, hey, the mother of your children's about to come, but I really kind of want this to happen too. And it's almost like...
Should have had a clone?
yeah, and it's almost the internal conflict in the head feels like a reality TV show. We know there's a thing that exists over here in the future that's going to go really well, and she's a princess too, and she's general, right? She's really great. And then you've got Bria Theron, who it's like, well, she's kind of cool too, though. How do I fit both these? And the fact that she works it so well that you really do want it to work, but we know it doesn't.
Yeah.
Fantastic writing, honestly.
I'll say, reading these for the first time, same thing. Like, I couldn't care less about Leia. I was just focused on this relationship and how it would go.
Right.
And so, let's see, what's the first one?
Paradise Snare.
Paradise Snare, yeah. So going through that book, you want her to be freed, you want her to be rescued, you want this beautiful relationship to blossom.
Young love.
Then Bria, man, she hurts me bad. I took that personally. I was like in a major downer after that. Like, why? Why, Bria? Why'd you have to do that? And so, like, I never forgave her when she came back in. I had this judgmental attitude of, no, you missed your chance, you're gone. And
but that's where Han does see like the beginning of his heartbreak, right? Like, how,
totally.
He's not gonna be so easily fooled the next time around. He's a little more jaded. So
man,
that's
all the bros tonight are getting all the feels, aren't we?
But then she does it again. She does it again. Revel Dawn. He's like, I shouldn't trust you. You screwed me over. Okay, let's get back together, I guess. And then
it's just business.
And then she's like, all right, we're gonna raid Elysia, and we're gonna what you call it earlier, Rick?
Oh, don't put that on me. I was quoting Jared Mays.
Did I say that on the show?
Yeah.
I have no memory of this. None.
We'll find it and put it on a commercial for you.
Oh, please don't. Well, we haven't watched the Chives commercial for months now. Well, the point being that she says, we're going to go make this raid, and the smugglers invite all your buddies, and we need their help, and they can have all the loot, all the plunder. They got all those artifacts down there. He's got all of his treasures, and y'all have the treasures and smuggle them, sell them at the thrift stores. Y'all be rich. And then the rebels pull their guns on the smugglers. And he's like, what are you doing? Lando's like, what's your girl doing over there? And then she's like, I'm sorry, Han, we need the money, so we're going to take the stuff. And he's like, you can't do this to me. She's like, no, I will, because the Rebel Alliance is way more important than you. And
she was right.
And he's like, there's nothing more important than our friends. And you made a promise to my friends, which is, I think, one of the greatest twists in all of Legends publishing.
It really hurts, man.
Yeah.
I put you and Rick in that situation with me, and thinking Bria's right there holding us at gunpoint. I'm pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
You can't take my boy Rick's puppet.
Can I be wearing a cape?
Oh, man.
If I'm Lando in this analogy, can I have a cape?
Sure. We all get capes, because I want to bring capes back.
Yeah,
so.
I was
Everybody
going to say,
gets capes.
I want a cape, too.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to have a cape, but we are going to get Jedi robes. So we're working on those.
Yes, sir.
Very excited. Very excited. Well, it is a brutal relationship. Let me ask you this, though. Why do you think Bria is not quite the perfect match for Han in the way that Leia eventually would be?
Can we take a step, actually, and compare them? Because they're very similar.
Yeah, they are.
Like, just the one on the list come from wealthy families, become strong, independent women, fighters for the rebellion.
He's got a type.
He's got a type. Anyway, I just want to point that out. But yeah,
I got another one. Bria did drugs, and so did Carrie Fisher.
Oh,
I don't know. That might have been in bad taste. If it was, I sincerely apologize to the entire Fisher estate, and will see myself out.
Yeah, I mean,
May she rest in
Leia.
peace. We love her. Carrie Fisher is our absolute princess of the Star Wars fandom.
I love her,
and
I'm
will
sure
always
there was
be. To me, she's royalty. I'm deep in the pit here. Help me, Rick.
Yeah, I'm sure the Princess of Alderaan had some parties that had some spice in them. So I think you're safe. But
probably
we'll move on.
There's more.
But yeah, definitely not the perfect match for Han.
The big difference for me, though, is that Leia always knew who she was and what her purpose was. And then Han could fit in as a companion in that journey. But she totally was on her own, independent from needing a crutch. Whereas Bria was so dependent on her addiction that then for her, the rebellion became her new addiction. It became this driving purpose, and no person was ever going to fit into that.
Yeah.
There was no space for a partner. She wasn't whole. She wasn't fully whole.
Yeah. That's so great, Jared, that you say that, because that is real life, right? There's going to be situations in not everyone's life, but in some people's lives, and in mine too, right? Where you need to put your focus into something. And as much as you want to do that other thing, like, really, this one's a lot more important. And sometimes you just have to make the sacrifice to give your full attention to one thing instead of splitting yourself amongst, not giving it your all, right? And Bria doesn't seem like a person that's going to give it halfway.
Right.
Just like Leia, though. Leia is not going to give it halfway, or as Lando says, Leia? Does he say Leia? I think he said Leia.
But she came from such a grounded family.
Yeah.
That she was taught how to compartmentalize and make space for family. And there's some places in Legends where that she doesn't prioritize family like she should, but for the most part is a dedicated, loving, loyal mom and spouse.
Yeah.
Whereas it seemed like Bria had a more complicated relationship with just the fact that she was gone. I mean, she was abducted, essentially.
You know the big difference, in my opinion, between Leia and the other girl?
Yeah, the ex-girlfriend, the betrayer.
Yeah, the betrayer. To me, it's the fact that Leia was willing to bring Han into it with her. Like, hey, you're a good guy. I want you to be in this thing with me. I want to include the thing I love in the thing I love, which to me is like the real relationship. That's where real love is spawned between between people, right? Is you share hobbies with each other, you share each other's likes and dislikes, and you're not always going to agree on things.
Could make me cry, Freddie.
But in the true realistic sense of life, like Brea, she wasn't ready to bring Han into this, which means that she loved this thing that the rebellion, that was her love. Unfortunately, Han wasn't quite there yet. He didn't match with her, and she wasn't willing to bring him into it, which says something there. So ultimately, it's how much did one person love the other, and I think we all know Leia and Han they truly do love each other. They'll do everything for each other.
Da 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 da.
So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, we gotta play Han and
Well
Leia's
said.
theme after this for sure.
Yeah, I agree, man. I really liked what you said about Leia included him with the love. We talked about the betrayer. She didn't hold loyalty to people as much as the mission, but Leia has both. She sees the people while still pursuing the mission, and it's not one or the other, it's together. That's very much who Leia is. It's
Beautiful.
I don't know if we're gonna have a cry session later or get like a sermon written or what, but this is good stuff, man.
I'll tell you what, I wrote a wedding script last week, 2 weeks ago. And
Nice.
I did make a Star Wars reference. Yeah, it's
There you go.
very hush-hush. Can't talk about it. But, all right, I'll tell you the one Legends reference I made. All right. And tell me this wasn't just perfect, just made for a wedding. What do you call it? A wedding sermon? That's not the right word.
Sure. I don't know.
Listen to this. From Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
Love will ignite the stars.
Oh.
That's going to be at somebody's wedding, y'all. I mean, hopefully.
Yeah. I've only officiated one wedding, and guess what my first sentence was?
Oh, no. Marriage.
You got it.
There it is.
Marriage
Is what brings us together today.
You had to.
They actually requested it. I'm not even joking. It was an inside joke where someone else in the family had that same thing, and so
Marriage.
they wanted me to.
I believe the last one I did, could have been 2 or 3 ago, it was right at the height of the Hamilton craze.
Oh, nice.
And
Do you believe in that, Jared?
I said, welcome to everybody. You did it. You're here. You're in the room where it happens. And I kid you not, the auditorium erupted in applause and laughter. They thought I was
Nice.
I got way more nervous because then I had set the bar so high they thought I was hilarious.
Oh, man.
And I was like...
That's tough. I've been there before.
Like, oh, that went over too good.
Yeah. I did a
love it.
preaching series on Peter, and I made a little spoken word, not rap, because I'm white as it gets, but like a spoken word. No, it was
Like
good.
Hamilton.
I didn't try to rap it. Yeah,
I don't believe
it
you.
was. How does a middle-class fisherman end up in the middle of God's mission plan? Dang it, I already forgot how it goes.
It's not good.
It was really well written, but the delivery, I had to look at my notes 1,000 times before even now I can't even say it right, but it was really good. I'll have to share it with you later.
See if we can find the video, then we'll believe you. Well, we talked about overdoing it and going above and beyond, setting the bar too high. There has been a hot take, at least from the Discord, of somebody saying that perhaps Murg in the Paradise Snare is a better sidekick to Han than Chewie. What do you think?
Hot take.
It is a hot take.
That is straight from the lava.
And I think in the Paradise Snare, I would say at least this much, that Murg is a spectacular ancillary character.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
That's the other thing. How do you write a character? Okay, I'm going to round of applause to AC Crispin for giving us a love that could rival Luke and Leia.
Oh, yeah.
Or Luke and Leia.
Rivals that one for sure. We got those two steamy kisses.
Whatever. I'm gonna roll with it.
It also rivals Han and Leia.
Han and Leia, exactly.
There's not that kind of love in Star Trek. Just saying.
And then of course, a sidekick that rivals Chewie. That's crazy to me.
It is. That's a great point. Both a sidekick and a love interest for Han that compete with what we find in the original trilogy. Excellent point. Skooma Joe says, "Who could have said that? Let's get him and throw him in the fire." I believe it was you, Skooma Joe. Yeah, I believe it was you. So it basically says, at least in this trilogy. Now, I could give you that. Not that he's better than Chewie in the films, because the authors have gone so far as to say this was the big point that was made in the creation of the New Jedi Order, for example. There was the debate about, can we kill off the family dog? Spoilers for the New Jedi Order. All right, you've been warned. Chewie bites it in the first... Rick hasn't read. Chewie bites it in the first book. And the big point... All right, you're safe, Rick. Come on back. You're good. The big point of debate was Chewie's hard to write for.
Yeah.
Chewie's hard to write for. Because he's so hard to write for, like, how do you write a character who only ever says this? Right? Do you write the HRRRGGHHHH? Or do you have another character say, oh, see, what Chewie meant by that was this? Or a lot of times a Wookiee will have a protocol droid that interprets. Or there's all kinds of crutches, but it's hard for the author and not fun for the reader.
There's two ways to write for Chewie. One, as you just said, where we have an interpreter, and I think the best way to interpret it is writing a response where you can understand the question, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Chewie, we're not going to go kill him right now. Like, something like that, right? Where you're like, what did he say? And you're like, oh, okay. He's talking about killing that guy.
Of course I fixed the hyperdrive.
Exactly. Or, in describing Chewbacca, right? Like, he looked upset or something. Very simple, where describes his moods or something like that. But those are, like, in my opinion, the only two ways you can really write them.
Freddie, do you remember in the Thrawn trilogy?
Oh gosh, man.
There's a Wookiee with a basic.
Yes.
There's a Wookiee with a speech impediment. And Rick, I don't know if you've seen it. I actually played a clip of the audiobook on the show of Mark Thompson doing the Wookiee with the speech impediment. And it, at least for me, was the funniest moment in Legends Look Back history. It was so much. I was laughing so hard. I was sweating and spitting and snorting, and that was just in the first 5 seconds. I could not. I physically could not recover to finish the show because I didn't warn. I think it was Meg, Freddie, and Cheryl on that episode. I didn't warn them that I was going to do this. I just did it live on the show.
Oh man!
We'll find the clip.
Oh
Nice.
man!
That's not a good way to do it. Not this Wookiee with the speech impediment. We tried it. It wasn't that great. We tried it, but at least we tried it. All right. We talked about Murg. We talked about Bria. We talked about Han Solo. Lightning round here. Let's go through the villains, and we'll be done for tonight. And we'll bring in Charles to save this thing next week. Ready? Tara Winza, the dastardly rhino who vibrates, starts a religious cult. Has a big collection, though, to his... All right, there's one thing, a redeeming quality, likes to collect.
He's a collector.
Likes to collect.
One of us.
Hey, you might be a Sith, but you like collecting like me.
The big difference is, with Tara Winza, Rick, is that he notoriously reads his books before he puts them on the shelf.
All right. You know what?
He's booting me.
Oh man, that's so good.
Are you better? Did you get it out of your system?
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened. I'll be nice. I won't do it again.
All right.
How does Tara Winsa for you rank among the great villains of the EU? I'm at least going to put him B tier. I mean, he's like almost A tier for me.
He's not terrifying, right? He's not terrifying. We're like Vader. I feel like Vader, A tier villain. Absolutely Palpatine, A tier villain. A Thrawn, depending on how, what side you're on. Thrawn is an A-tier villain. Isard. I would say definitely B
Plagueis.
or C. Not really scary,
Bane.
just very manipulative and knowing it. Right? That's pretty bad.
I think he's good in the sense that you hate him.
Yes.
He's just despicable.
He reminds me of who is it from? Oh man, the frog guy on Kessel.
Morith Duel.
Yeah, he's like in the same tier. Morith Duel, right? They're like right at the same level. They're not terrifying. They're just disgusting.
Yes.
All right, here's the thing about Tara Winsa. He makes the Hutts look respectable.
Yes.
He makes the Hutts look honorable because they have a code. And he's a slave owner. I mean, that's not good.
Yeah.
Isn't his species a subspecies of the Hutts?
They're like cousin species or something. Yeah.
They've got those long arms and the rhino horn.
Yeah.
And for more on this, you can check out a couple episodes ago from the Living Force, because we have a cutting edge image of one of the Talantatil on possibly could be soon to be revealed cover of one of the Essential Legends collection books. Jury's still out on that. I will say that's not true whatsoever. We made the covers ourselves. I will say I would love to get unabridged audio productions of these. Wouldn't you guys?
Oh, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. My screen reader app did not cut it for me. I can't say how many names it butchered, but we got through it.
I did a little bit of that too. I did some of the speech to text on Kindle. The one that it was especially fun to listen to the robot read to me. Ready? The 2 Hutt Civil War clans. The Besadii Khajidik and the Dasilagic Khajidik. You listen to a robot say Dasilagic Khajidik about 100 times, and it'll break something within you. It truly, truly will.
How do you say that, Freddie?
Which one?
I said
either of them.
I said them like my robot friend, so you just say them however you want, like a human.
Besadi, because there's 2 eyes there, right? It's a little more emphasis there.
That's true.
Khajidik, honestly, Khajidik sounds correct. You could say Khajidik if you want to do that as well.
I would go with Khajidik.
Khajidik?
Definitely not that one. No.
Besadi Khajidik and Dasilagic Khajidik is how I said it.
They look like, even if you were to say it in the language, it would probably still sound the same. It's written the way you probably are supposed to say it.
I was going to get some Hutties phrases for this week's episode. I forgot all about that.
Well, the good news is we've got a round 2. We're going to do a 2-parter on this, and we need it because we are running low on time. Now, we're going to have Charles on next week to talk all about the overarching questions of this trilogy, and boy, are there a lot of them. I've got a lot of questions. And we are going to hear all about why he loves this trilogy as among his very favorite Star Wars books ever. I do want to talk more next. Make sure we put a pin in this for next week. I got to hear more about the Hutts. We can get enough of the Hutt stuff, which was almost the alternative title for this episode. Like the song Hot Stuff from the 80s. Hot Stuff. It was going to be Hutt Stuff. But you're right, but the Hutt stuff is actually just like frogs and murder.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly murder.
And they're hermaphroditic. That's a thing.
Yes, that is a thing. They're pouches, man. Who knew?
They have pouches like kangaroos. There's a lot in this series that is just...
That was definitely the hidden gem for me in this series, was all of the Hutt lore I didn't know I needed. That was fun.
There's some points in the Hutt Gambit where I'm like, this book is just cover to cover Hutt lore. That's all there's no story. It's just Hutt lore.
Yep. Man.
But it's enjoyable. Sure. Absolutely enjoyable. Just like this episode of Legends Look Back. That's going to do it for this week. Coming up next week, we've got on the Living Force Monday night, the Star Wars Celebration Preparation episode. I'm hoping they can tell me how to get my stickers to stick to my backpack because they're peeling And those were like $5 a piece. So somebody help me with my stickers. All right, coming up on Wednesday, we've got the Ario Anandito Artist Spotlight on the Cosmic Force. I don't know who that is, so I'm looking forward to learning on Wednesday. And on Thursday, a little show called Legends Look Back. We're going to have Dr. Charles Hankel talk about Nalatree frogs and Hutts and Boba Fett and the A.C. Crispin Han Solo Trilogy. That does it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. Thanks especially to our incredible patrons for your amazing support. We love making this show, and we're glad that you are here along for the ride. A special thank you to our Jedi High Council, OK Indar, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, and our Alliance High Command, Matt Billington, Elizabeth Cloutier, Freddie C., Sally, and Chris Eilerson as well. Remember to sub to the channel and leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. And hey, if you would like your thoughts read on the show, you can email us at legendslookback@utini.com. You can send us a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel. Leave a comment on this episode on YouTube, or you can find us on Twitter at Legends Look Back. I'm at Jared Q. Mays, Freddie
At Wake Up Freddy.
and Rick.
At Rick_Grace.
You can also find Tyler at Ty Rags to tell him how much you really think that he's not going to win the competition, and how we should totally count those 2 books that I read a few weeks ago in the competition. Make sure you talk some trash over there. Remember, if you want to buy some of the books, such as The Paradise Snare, The Hutt Gambit, or the third one, Rebel Dawn, you can go on over to utini.com, click the Amazon link in the profile, and we get a few cents to help keep the lights on. You get a Legends book. It's a win-win. And remember, the Hutts win also because they facilitated the agreement, and you don't want to cross them. Also, remember, after you've read the books, you can leave us a review and let us know what you think. Remember, everybody, to keep the Utini fan code to be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the Force be with you.
This is a Utini broadcast.